close to your resolution. If you want my opinion, things that better.
Thanks. Thank you so much. Yes. Are you gonna sit by me? Oh, okay. Or are you gonna sit on me? Thank you. So glad I took a shower this morning. Now I'm getting another one. Okay. All right. Hi. Hello. Welcome back. Hold on, I gotta fix this. Sorry, I just like break everything every time I do this. Hi, bub. Are you gonna lay down now? I gotta learn to do this better so that there's a decent background. I'll learn maybe at some point. That's better, right? You can see my pretty pictures. Nice. Hi, bub. So I wanted to pop in and do like a quick, I guess this is a vlog maybe. I don't really know the difference because I'm not social media savvy, which is the whole point of this not vlog. So I released the first episode of my podcast. Stop whining. Why are you whining? I released the first episode of my podcast last week on Tuesday, which is something I've been thinking about doing for a long time. I like recorded it in May and then took forever to edit it because I had to learn about editing, which I did primarily from videos that were literally made by a 10-year-old. So I was learning editing from a 10-year-old YouTuber, which was kind of awesome, honestly. But so a couple of things happened as part of this whole thing. I decided that I wanted to make a separate YouTube account for my knitting stuff, and along with that I wanted to have a separate Instagram account for that stuff. So because I had finally finished editing that whole mess and then realized, like, where the heck am I gonna publish this? Like, do I want to put this on my personal channel? Like, probably not, but anyway, so that happened. So I'm doing this all on Tuesday, and I put everything up and I get my new Instagram going and I do a quick post, and then I pop over to another Instagram account that I've had for a while that I haven't been on in forever, just to let everybody know that I'm not dead. And I post some content there, and then I start scrolling down and I realize that it's Blackout Tuesday. So yeah, not aware of like social media stuff. So I realized that like me posting all this content made me seem really tone deaf, and just completely whatever the opposite of woke is. So in reality, so if you watch my first episode, I live in Chicagoland, and I work for a fairly large, it's a very large non-for-profit, and a lot of the work that I do is in the south side neighborhoods and the west side neighborhoods of Chicago, where a lot of the stuff is going on. I mean, these neighborhoods are like really having a tough time. I was driving around pretty much all this past week on the south side, like Bronzeville, up and down Kings Drive. I was in Little Village, and if you're from Chicago, you know these neighborhoods, they kind of struggle like on a good day. And right now, like, I can't even tell you just the general feeling of awfulness. Like, everything's boarded up and people are on edge, and it's just really hard right now. So, and like, whatever your political leanings are, however you feel a certain way about the protests and the things that are happening, like, honestly, it doesn't, I guess what I want to say is that I'm hyper aware of the pain that is surrounding what is going on. Like, and I'll just leave it at that. And I just may not always be aware of like the proper etiquette on social media to address that. So, because the other thing is the reason why I wanted to create a separate channel for my knitting is because I wanted to have a place where I can just not be inundated with all of that stuff, because I am hyper aware and I'm in those neighborhoods, and it's, you know, I'm not in a position where I can just not be aware that that's happening. So I kind of have to intentionally not ignore it, but I have to just set it down for a minute and be somewhere else so that I can recharge, so that I can be ready for the next day when I have to be in the middle of all the stuff again. And big Pisces energy over here, so it's like I just feel all the things, and that's really difficult for me. And so that's why kind of compartmentalizing my life a little bit just kind of helps me get centered. If that makes sense. So with that, I wanted to point out what I'm gonna do, and what I kind of started to do, is I'm going through my YouTube subscriptions, and maybe there's a better way to do this. I don't know. Again, I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm gonna go through my subscription list on my personal channel and all the knitting podcasts that I watch all the time, and I'm gonna subscribe to them here because I want this to be like my happy knitting place, and I want to just like log in and see, you know, just knitting stuff. You know, I don't want to, you know, I log into my personal channel right now, and it's like I get the news and all that stuff, and that's important content for me to see, and it's important stuff for me to engage with. It's just I can't do it all the time. I just want to have some place where I can recharge, and that's here. So if you're a podcaster that I follow, or you're just, you know, and you suddenly like you notice that I'm just like subscribing to like everybody and their brother, it's because I've been watching this stuff before on my personal channel, which is the 4th star, and I just want to kind of keep it over here so that I have more, I want boundaries around the content that I see when I log in here. And I'm going to do the same thing on Instagram as well. So if you see that I'm suddenly subscribing to a whole bunch of people on Instagram, it's because I'm doing it with the intention of creating boundaries around the content that I see, because I want the algorithm to see that like this chick just wants to see fiber stuff and yarn and happiness, and that's it. And that's what I'm hoping will occur. Again, there might be a better way to do this. I really don't know. So I do have a couple of like yarny things, knitty things to talk about. As I've been watching podcasts, I wanted to bring up a couple. I'm gonna link a couple things below, because so I did a lot of complaining in my first episode about a couple of different things. So apparently I'm like the person who complains about everything, which I don't want to be that person, but I just had a bad run of patterns, I think. But I was watching Bente from Arctic Crafts, who I really love. And first of all, so she's also knitting the Breathe in Hope shawl, and she also has low contrast colors, the same as what I'm knitting. And she finished hers, and I'll link the podcast below where you can see, and she blocked it out, and it looks beautiful. And all of like the issues with like the vertical stripes not popping, and it just like not looking very like, ooh, like hers looks gorgeous. So I'm gonna link that below so you can go take a look and see what she did, so that hopefully it balances out all of my bitching about my shawl. And also so you can see that apparently the low contrast colors do work, and it looks a little better after you block it. So that is very encouraging. The other thing is, so my Magnolia sweater, the chunky one, that I was like, I really loved the sweater. I loved how it turned out, but it was just like, I just wasn't happy with how the lace ended up looking. And so again, I was watching podcasts, as I do, and I'm just gonna butcher this woman's YouTube channel, but it's like Pikku Kimalainen or something like that. It's super cute. It's a great podcast. I'm gonna link her podcast below also so you can see her Magnolia chunky sweater. I think she did it without mohair, and it looks awesome. It has a lot more structure. The lace really pops. So I think that's a much better option. Well, I mean, I guess depending on what you're looking for. If you want kind of that like fuzzy, mohairy, you know, whatever, then knit it the way I did, and super drapey. But if you want something with a little more structure and you really want those stitches to stand out in the lace panels, then I would take a look and see what she did, because it was very cool. I really like looking at Ravelry pages to see how other people's projects has turned out. I think pretty much everybody in the knitting community does that. But I also really like finding podcasts where, you know, people are talking about the garment and they're kind of like twisting it around and they put it on, and there's usually a little clip of them like wearing it, and so you can really see like how the garment lays, how it moves. You know, sometimes the photos, you know, they're static, so it's like kind of hard to see. So for me, I really love finding podcasts where people have knit something that I'm thinking about knitting. I enjoy that a lot. So I do have a sort of finished object. I even like wrote some show notes this time. This isn't really an episode, is it? Maybe it's like gonna be like 1.5, I don't know. I don't know what we're gonna do with this, but I actually took notes, which I'm proud of myself for. So I finished one of the, this is the Coffee Talk sock pattern. Remember I said there was like some really cute like fade work at the toe, so that's that, and I really like it. And again, this is it's a cuff down sock pattern. This is a fairly new sock pattern, but here's the thing. So, and let me preface this by saying I don't swatch for socks. I just don't. This sock is huge. So I knit the, I gotta weave in ends. I knit the medium. I have a US size 8 foot, and these are like, my toe is like right here. So, luckily my boyfriend's sister has, I think she wears a size like 9.5, 10. So these are gonna fit her. So these socks are no longer for me. These are gonna be for Kiki. So hopefully she likes them. So I wanna talk about something that I'm not sure if other knitters experience this, but for me this is like a really big thing. So I experience pre-sweater cast-on anxiety. I don't know if this is a thing or if this is just me being me. Probably is. But so I really want to start a new sweater because I finished my Magnolia, and for some reason I am like super stressed out about finding like the right pattern. I kind of wanted to do some color work, but I'm having trouble finding like the perfect yarn. And the yarns that I do want to purchase are overseas, and I don't want to purchase anything from overseas right now, unfortunately, because of the shipping issues. I mean, I've been having issues getting stuff shipped to me like within the United States. I can't imagine if I like ordered yarn from Norway or France, or I don't know. I feel like that's gonna be a bad idea, but man, I just like cannot commit to a sweater, and I'm so anxious to cast one on, because I usually have like one large project, like a garment. I always have a pair of socks going, and then usually like a hat or a shawl or some like medium-sized project. And then it's just like I just pick up whatever some projects you can drag around with you, other projects you can't. So I kind of have like my knitting chair project. It just sits there and I knit on it when I'm watching TV or something like that. And then I have like my mobile projects, the usual stuff. I'm sure I'm not the only one who does this. But yeah, do you guys get like pre-sweater cast on anxiety, like, or when you're gonna start like a larger garment, like something that you're really gonna invest a lot of time in? Like, do you just stress about it for a while first? Maybe it's just me. Life update also. I have 3 teenage sons, and for the past 3 months they have been living with their dad, which is not normally our arrangement. So what happened was in March, I got sick. I got the corona, and I got really sick. I was really ill for the first like 2.5 weeks, and then the 2 weeks after I was still pretty sick. I was functioning, but I was still not 100%. And during that time, the kids went to go live with their dad, and then of course after, you know, in the midst of all that, like things started to get like locked down, and their dad and his wife are they're both in the service industry, and so both of their places of work got completely shut down and they were basically furloughed. And so we just thought it was basically safer for the kids to be, you know, in the household where the parents weren't coming and going in the world, because me and my boyfriend are both essential workers. So, you know, as soon as I could go back to work, I did, and he never stopped working throughout the whole thing. So that's why they've been at their dad's, and this is like the longest period of time I have ever been without my children, and it's been really difficult, and it just feels weird in the house. And it's also the longest period of time that their dad has been responsible for them. So I think both households are just ready for things to go back to normal. We'll just leave it at that. But anyway, so they're coming home. They're coming home today, and I'm really excited. I'm actually, after I'm done with this, I'm gonna go, I deep cleaned their rooms while they were gone, but I'm gonna put up some like welcome home banners and stuff like that. My youngest just graduated from 8th grade, so I've got some graduation decorations for his room. And yeah, so that's really exciting. But with that, so I don't know if y'all know this, but teenage boys are really freaking loud. So there might not be a whole lot of podcasting going on, especially while they're getting settled back in. And yeah, they're just, I don't know why they're so loud. It's probably not all teenage boys, it's probably just my boys, but they're basically like, it's like living with anime characters. There's just a lot of weird noises that happen. They just, yeah, they create sound effects for everything they do. Especially my twins are gonna be 17 at the end of the summer, and they're just like, yeah, they're like walking anime characters. They're amazing. They're just kind of loud. So that's that. And yeah, I think that's kind of all I wanted to say. Just some quick updates and some stuff about things. I didn't have any show notes for this part, you could probably tell. But yeah, that's it. I hope you guys are having a good weekend and you are staying safe and staying strong. And hopefully I will be back to talk to you again very soon. Bye for now.
My money's on you. Yeah, darling, all my money, it's on you.